This is the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on May 19th, 2017. It's a long weekend in Canada, Victoria Day long weekend next week in the United States with Memorial Day. We are on today, 6:30 CHED at noon prior to the Ottawa-Pittsburgh game. So good luck to Ottawa as they play the Penguins right after our show. Stay tuned to 6:30 CHED. Don't forget, our show normally runs 6:30 CHED, Sunday afternoon at 3. If you ever miss a radio show, they're archived on Harold's website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, podcast as well, through iTunes. Type in The World Financial Report on Radio. You will find us there. Connect with Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. Christie's and Sotheby's had sales in Geneva, both with major news we will have in the second part of the show when we talk about diamonds. This week's featured diamond is a 1+ carat radiant cut fancy intense blue. See it online, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. And a lot of the news coming out was based in the United States. As a result of Donald Trump, he went and fired the FBI Director Comey, and then a special prosecutor was announced, and they're going to have Mueller be the prosecutor to find out exactly what happened with the situation between the Russians and the election in the United States. So it could be an interesting time, not only geopolitically, but financially, as the markets were really shaken by a lot of what was happening, and all centered around the White House and the U.S. President Donald Trump. Harold, personally don't think he'll end up being impeached over this, but it will definitely be a thorn in his side for quite some time, and you may see some unsettled moments in the markets, but unsettled moments create opportunity.
You better believe it. Again, the market responded, obviously, when they wanted to impeach him after basically 100 days in office, but fact is that I don't think that that's going to happen either. Again, it's just another example of the difference between a businessman being the president and a politician being the president. There's protocol, and basically he doesn't know it yet. But it's not from a lack of trying, and he's going to make his mistakes along the way, and the market's going to react to it. But we saw 300, almost a 400-point downturn in the Dow on that particular day, but then the market came back up the last couple days. So if it was that severe, the market would be plummeting at this point, and that's just not happening. So, again, the markets are going to react to these type of situations, but it just goes to show that Wall Street just keeps on trudging along no matter what happens. We saw changes in the dollar, but then the dollar came back, strong the next day. So we're sitting right now that the U.S.-Canadian dollar spread is 1.36 for the Canadian dollar. It means it would cost you $1,360 Canadian to get $1,000 American. So it's still trading within its range. I do anticipate over the next couple of years that the Canadian dollar will fall substantially, along with the Australian dollar, two currencies that are in big trouble. And even though there's all this turmoil and things happening in the U.S., the U.S. dollar is still remaining strong, and I still do believe that the U.S. dollar is going to make a major rally. It's going to be a very strong currency. It will remain a strong currency, and that's something that we have to go with because there's not a lot of investment opportunities out there that are sound and strong, and there's no doubt in my mind that the U.S. dollar is where we want to have our money for the next few years. We also saw a strong reaction in gold on that day, that the Dow dropped almost 400 points. Gold actually rallied $20 that day, however, fell the next day and is up slightly. So it's still trading within its range. Again, we feel that gold will be under pressure with the U.S. dollar being strong. But with the president that we have and the potential of an attack on North Korea, which I believe is a real situation that we really need to monitor, there's a very strong opportunity that the U.S. dollar and gold could actually rally at the same time. So we're monitoring the markets very closely. We'll certainly let you know when we see an opportunity to buy gold. We don't want to buy it prematurely, but on the other hand, when gold does start to run, it's going to run very, very fast. There's so many situations in the market at this point that could make gold run. We just obviously want to make certain that the short positions in the market are under control. We look at at those reports all the time, the Commitment of Traders report, and at this point it's still showing a huge short position in gold and silver. So that basically means that there's pressure on the downside, but then you've got these other situations like North Korea that are supporting the market. So continue to listen to the show. If you ever need any information on any markets, feel free to call me personally. I'll spend as much time with you as you need and let you know what I think about the markets that you're trading. Speak to clients on a daily basis. There's opportunities in the markets at this point, even though you have to dig for them. The fact is that the stock market is a very risky place to have your market. Over 90% of people that trade stocks lose their money. All you have to do is look at the return on your retirement savings plans over the past decade to understand that what I'm saying is so. It's very difficult to make money in a market like the stock market unless you're trading the base market. If you're just trying to pick individual stocks, the chances are is that you're going to lose. 90% of the people lose when they pick individual stocks. And then if you pick mutual funds, all you're doing is basically taking different stocks from different categories, and if one is up and one is down and one is neutral, how well did you actually do? My clients are doing exceptionally well. We're in alternative-based investments. They're based in U.S. dollars, so we're converting Canadian dollars to American dollars. My clients are making over 25% a year with these investments, and if that's of interest to you, you can contact me next week, and it would be my pleasure to speak to you in regards to how you're investing, what you should be doing, and what your opportunities are. Again, the biggest opportunities right now are in the currency markets, and it's not like I'm saying to trade currencies and to get leveraged and all that. We don't do that. We don't trade on leverage. We don't put our clients in speculative positions, but there are opportunities, and to just sit in a currency that is going to continue to drop when we have an opportunity to make money on that is a sensible thing to do at this point. So again, if you want to learn how to make money in the foreign currency markets by trading the U.S. dollar, Canadian dollar-based investments, let me show you how we do that. Our clients are making over 25% a year. When gold does start to run, it's going to be a massive bull market. When gold does start to run, it's going to be because of an extreme situation. Otherwise, gold would be trading in a range like it has for the last 3 to 4 years. However, as the U.S. dollar gets stronger and stronger, that should push gold down. But with these other situations like North Korea, like Syria, like the Middle East, and all that's happening, and you've got to consider that an inexperienced president like Trump is going to be challenged. So I believe at this point here that we should seriously be looking at gold again, and again, continue to listen to the show and continue to talk to me personally, and I'll certainly let you know when we believe that gold is going to run. When it does start to run, we have a phenomenal program for you. You'll be able to buy physical gold, now at this point only in kilos, which are 2.2 pounds of solid gold, 99.9% gold. And basically we can deliver that gold to you at the bid price. We're not going to make a commission on you. We own these mines outright, so obviously we do get gold slightly below spot price, and we're going to pass those savings on to our clients. On this next run-up in gold, we want our clients to make a fortune like they did back in 2000 when we caught the biggest bull market in history when we bought gold at $250 and rode it all the way up to $1,900. So these markets are confusing. There's no doubt about it. Most people don't know what to do with these type of marketplaces because if you put your money in the bank, you're getting 0.5%. Most people don't know this, but this is an actual fact that in parts of Europe, interest rates have gone into the negatives. So normally what we always knew when we were growing up is that you save your money. If you put your money in the bank's going to pay you interest. Well, those days are basically over. Soon we're going to be paying the banks to keep our money, and the banks are not safe, and there's a C-15 bill that means that if you keep over $100,000 in any bank, that you could lose that money if that bank goes under. If you're not sure about Bill C-15, give me a call. I'll explain it to you. It's something that you need to know about because the ramifications can be extreme. And when these banks do get in trouble, and believe me, there's trouble in Canada with the banks. The real estate markets are in trouble. We know what's happening with the major mortgage company that we talked about last week. There's situations happening that you need to know about. Don't just sit there and watch them happen. You could be proactive and actually have these situations not hurt you but help you. So let us help you in that situation. We've been on the radio for going on 18 years now that this show has been on, and it's a show that is very friendly to our listeners. All we want, all Randy and I want, is for the listeners to the show to do well. And we've been doing extremely well, especially with our private investments that are outside of the stock and bond and paper markets. We deal in real assets. We deal in diamonds and physical gold and rough diamonds, and that's been our business for many, many years. My partners have been in the mining business for 4 generations, so we can bring opportunities to you in mining that nobody else can bring to you. So there are alternative assets out there that could do extremely well for you at a time when most people are not making money. Most people look at retirement and say that that's an aberration. That's something that will never happen because you're getting 0.5% return on your money in the bank, and 90% of the people that trade stocks lose their money. If that's all you know investment-wise, you need to contact me because there are other opportunities out there for you to make money and to secure your financial future.
Connect with Harold, 1-800-432-1022. Mark the number down. It's a call that is free. Anything discussed is private, confidential. 1-800-432-1022. The website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Our featured diamond of the week. It is a beauty. And we'll talk more about blue diamonds in the second half of the show. Christie's and Sotheby's had their sales in Geneva during the week with record numbers. Featured diamond is a 1+ carat radiant cut, fancy intense blue. See it online, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. As Harold has said for quite some time, we want to have some U.S. dollars, take Canadian, transfer it to U.S., and when we get little pullbacks in the U.S. dollar, this is a great time, and then be paid in U.S. dollars, because Harold's thesis is, over the long term, the Canadian dollar will weaken, the U.S. dollar will strengthen. And people are looking at the Fed and wondering, will they raise rates as a result of what's going on? Well, there was an interesting article, and you can take a look at it in our free weekly newsletter. Connect with Harold. He'll be happy to send it to you. 1-800-432-1022, or go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com. The Fed likely to press ahead with rate hikes despite the Trump turmoil. The political brouhaha in Washington looks unlikely to blow the Federal Reserve off course from raising interest rates further in 2017, starting with an increase next month and following up with another later in the year. They had said they would do 3 to 4 in 2017. They've done 1. We have 2 more to go, possibly 3. Fed watchers said the central bank will press ahead with plans to gradually normalize rates in order to rein in the economy that officials believe is growing above its potential and prevent an already stretched labor market from becoming even tighter. Unlike 2015 and 16, the Fed has made pretty clear that it's on a trajectory of tightening rates that will not likely be derailed, according to Jonathan Wright, a former central bank economist who's now a professor at Johns Hopkins University. And obviously there's concerns, as Harold mentioned, for the Australian dollar. In our newsletter this week, hedge funds are giving up on the Aussie dollar. We know that the Canadian dollar, lots of concerns surrounding the Canadian dollar, the Aussie dollar, And if they go to raise interest rates in the United States, we know here in Canada we will not be. It's just math. You know that the U.S. dollar will strengthen, the Canadian dollar will weaken. And Harold, it would not surprise me at all. Even though there is turmoil in Washington, the Fed will stay on course and have 2 more rate rises in 2017. Thus, we will see further strengthening in the U.S. dollar.
No doubt in my mind, Randy. The U.S. is the only country in the world right now that can raise interest rates, and when you raise interest rates, it strengthens your dollar. Just look what happened in the early 80s as the U.S. dollar got stronger and stronger, and interest rates went all the way up to 22%. Now, we don't ever believe that that's going to happen again, but the fact is that the U.S. dollar could certainly get back to the levels that it was back in the 80s, and I do believe that that's going to happen. We've been to the 103 level in the U.S. dollar. It's pulled back recently with everything that's happening, but again, the only currency that I'm really concerned about is the relationship between the U.S. dollar and the Canadian dollar. That's where most of our business is done. And even though the U.S. dollar has fallen slightly against the euro, against the Chinese yuan, and the Swiss franc, the fact is that it's gotten stronger against the Canadian and the Aussie dollar. So the one that I'm most concerned about is the relationship between the U.S. dollar and the Canadian dollar, and I just don't see any way that that's not going to go our way. I see the U.S. dollar getting very strong, especially as we get further into the year and we see interest rate hikes happen. And then at that particular point, again, with everything happening in Canada, commodity-wise and real estate-wise and banking-wise, I see eventually the Canadian dollar dropping below 60 cents. What that basically means, by the way, is that right now it costs you 1,360 Canadian to buy 1,000 American. If the market does what I believe it's going to do, it's going to cost us 2,000 Canadian to buy 1,000 American. So to let that happen and not make any money on it is criminal. We need to do this. We've got an opportunity to make an awful lot of money. Let me show you how that's done.
Connect with Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. rarecoloreddiamonds.com. 1-800-432-1022. 1-800-432-1022. And as Harold was saying, he has programs in place where you can start making money today. If you're sitting in a GIC getting 1%, sitting in just a bank account getting less than 1%, now is the time to speak with Harold. You will not be able to retire earning 1% on your money. Just do the math. It's very simple. Use the rule of 72. Divide 72 into your interest rate. That's how long it will take for your money to double. Doubling your money every 72 years is not going to be what it takes to retire here in Canada. Speak with Harold. The call is free. 1-800-432-1022. Anything discussed confidential. The website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com. rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Our featured diamond of the week. And this is another museum piece. We had a museum piece last week, and we've done it again. A 1+ carat radiant cut, fancy intense blue. See it, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. You take a look at what's happening in the United States, and at times it's really mind-boggling. Even here in Canada, there are concerns for the average everyday person. 28% of Americans say they couldn't handle an emergency expense of just, and this is stunning, $10. The survey conducted by Bloomberg and the think tank New America found 28% of people said any expense, even one as small as $10, was caused them to worry. We originally they conducted the original research that confirmed that most Americans put a premium on stability, and we have learned just how deep that desire runs. The investigators wrote in their report, financial planners generally advised keeping at least 3 months' worth of expenses on hand at all times in case you lose your job or suffer a sudden health crisis, and the money can act as a safety net. The report suggests the majority of Americans aren't prepared for such a scenario. Data for the report was compiled from 1,000 responses to online surveys issued to people of all demographic, economic, and geographic backgrounds. Just over 20% of people said they could handle a $100 expense without worrying. Meanwhile, 14% said the same for 500, 19 for 1,000, 14 for 10,000, and 5% for 100,000. In other words, more than 80% of people fell at the $1,000 tier or below. Nearly half, 49.5%, fell at 100 and below, which is absolutely a shocking number. Household debt in the United States has just surpassed the record level achieved during the 2008 financial crisis. The New York Federal Reserve reports that the household debt across the United States has hit a dubious milestone. In the first quarter, it surpassed the peak level of 2008 at $12.7 trillion. Household debt includes mortgages, auto and student loans. The credit cards rose $149 billion compared with the last quarter of 2016, with nearly all the gain coming from mortgages. And in our free weekly newsletter, we have an interesting chart. Student debt is eating at the United States household budget. The loans now represent 11 cents of every dollar Americans own. 11 cents of every dollar. Absolutely stunning number. And Harold, you can see with some of the numbers that we're talking about, now more than ever, people need to put a financial game plan together, get their financial house in order, and start making money. And obviously, with the world the way it is today, we believe we have programs where people can start making money instantaneously and get to a place where they can retire in comfort. We have about a minute left here.
Those are shocking numbers. To think that a $10 bill could cause chaos in somebody's life, but again, that's why they do these statistics. The one that blows me away is that 75% of Americans don't have $10,000 to their name. So the fact is that none of the economies around the world are doing well, especially anywhere. But the U.S., even though it has its trials and tribulations, is still doing better than most, and that's why the dollar is strong, and that's why the stock market in the States is almost at 21,000. But the fact is that these are very troubling times. You don't want to speculate. You don't want to take undue chances in the marketplace. Give me a call and let us explain to you how you can participate in our private investments that are doing much better than the mainstream, and they're all in U.S. dollars, which will give us the opportunity to hopefully make another 30 to 50% return on the currency markets over the next few years.
The number to call, 1-800-432-1022. RareColoredDiamonds.com is the website. We're going to come back and talk about diamonds as the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show. Our time is 9 o'clock Mountain on Friday, May 19th, 2017. It's a long weekend in Canada, Victoria Day long weekend. The forecast, as of today, as we're taping, is spectacular, so good news. No rain or snow for a change on a long weekend, finally. And we should mention next weekend for our American friends. We have people listening to our radio show all over the world, including the United States. They have their Memorial Day long weekend next weekend. We are on normally at 3 o'clock on 630 CHED, today at noon, due to the Ottawa Senator and Pittsburgh Penguin game. Good luck to the Ottawa Senators. Don't forget, if you ever miss a radio show, they're archived on Harold's website, RareColoredDiamonds.com. RareColoredDiamonds.com. We have a podcast through iTunes. Type in The World Financial Report on Radio. You will find us there. Featured Diamond of the Week is a 1+ carat radiant cut fancy intense blue. Go and see it online. The color of this diamond is just so beautiful. Featured Diamond of the Week, RareColoredDiamonds.com, 1+ carat radiant cut fancy intense blue. Go check it out. Well, the big news of the week, Sotheby's Magnificent Jewels and Noble Sale. May 16, 2017, Geneva, Switzerland. The world's most expensive earrings fetched over $57 million at Sotheby's. Sotheby's set the record auction price for a pair of earrings, selling a duo of blue and pink diamonds for $57 million in Geneva. The earrings known as the Apollo Blue and the Artemis Pink were picked up by the same buyer, which obviously, good move. Look a little funny with just one, who wants to remain anonymous. And they go on to say that they were named after ancient Greek gods. The pear-shaped earrings were estimated at $50 million to $68 million combined. The buyer renamed the 14.54-carat blue diamond the Memory of Autumn Leaves, and the 16-carat pink diamond the Dream of Autumn Leaves. The previous record price for earrings was set by the Muro de l'Amour, two pear-shaped white diamonds, and they were sold by Christie's for $17.7 million in November. That record blown out of the water. Color diamonds have been setting records recently. Christie sold the 14.62-carat Oppenheimer Blue for $58 million last week, while Sotheby's, they sold a 59.6-carat Pink Star for $71 million last month, a record auction price for any gem. And Sotheby's obviously very, very happy with the auction results. Now, we move on to Christie's. And there's a number in here that I told Harold about yesterday, and I said, are you sitting down, Harold? Be prepared for this. Christie's Magnificent Jewel Sale, May 17, 2017, Geneva, Switzerland. Christie's sells a 92-carat heart pendant for $15 million. The largest heart-shaped D flawless diamond ever offered at auction fetched $15 million at Christie's in Geneva. The 92.15-carat diamond, which was mounted in a necklace, achieved $162,611 per carat, falling within its pre-sale estimate. And the piece d'oeuvre, La Légende, was a creation of Baumer et Bassage, a high-end mason launched last year and named after 18th century Parisian jewelers Charles Baumer and Paul Bassage. Another big sale for the evening was a 15-carat unheated Burmese ruby mounted on a diamond ring that brought in $12.9 million, $861,000 per carat, within the estimate of $10 to $15 million. Now, this is the sit-down part. Okay, I hope you're ready. And this is one of the reasons we have a blue diamond as our featured diamond this week. There was a 7.97-carat Fancy Intense blue cushion-shaped diamond. It brought in $12.7 million. Now the estimate was $3 million. They had put an estimate of $3 million on it. It went for $12.7 million, setting an auction record price per carat of $1.6 million, according to Christie's. Also, a 4.05-carat square-cut fancy deep blue VS1 diamond sold for $4.3 million, $1.05 million per carat. And obviously, Sotheby's, Christie's, very happy with the auction results in the beautiful country of Switzerland, Geneva, and we have those auction results in our free weekly newsletter. You can go through and take a look for yourself. But Harold, what a number on that blue diamond. The estimate $3 million, 7.97-carat fancy intense cushion-shaped diamond brought in $12.7 million. And for those that are in the rare-colored diamond market, it was a very good week.
You better believe it. Again, blues have just done so tremendously well for the past decade. I've never seen diamonds or any asset move as high as diamonds have, especially blue diamonds, over the last 10 years. In fact, it was 2005 that important vivid blue diamonds at auction were selling in the 200,000 range per carat. Now, the vivid blues are trading at 4 to 5 million, and soon that will be surpassed if another one ever comes onto the market. It's very seldom that we ever get to see diamonds like this, so it's a real treat. So the fact is that blue diamonds, vivid blue important diamonds, have gone from 200,000 a carat in 2005 to about 5 million a carat in 2016 and 17. So I know of no other asset that has made those type of moves at any time. And now you've got other classifications of diamonds that are starting to look similar. For example, we know that, and we've been touting the pink diamonds from the Argyle mine for the last 10 years. The Argyle mine produces 95% of the pink diamonds in the world, and that mine is getting ready to close. Means that these diamonds will be no longer, and we anticipate that the price of these diamonds will skyrocket, depending on the quality and the size and all that. Now understand that most Argyles are under a quarter carat. In fact, 95% of them are. They're known as the most concentrated form of wealth on earth. This is an investment that you can get involved in today, starting at under 50,000, and that particular diamond over the years could skyrocket in price. So the fact is that these are not short-term investments. You want to buy diamonds as a long-term investment and possibly keep them within the family, because a lot of times these diamonds will just take on a life of their own, and the price increases are absolutely phenomenal. So the blue diamonds just continued to do tremendously well, as was illustrated by this week's auction, that an intense blue selling for $1.5 million a carat, that has just never even come close to that before. So we're just ecstatic about what's happening in the colored diamond market, and again, we'll continue to bring to you these amazing results. Now, let's not get totally enamored by, the multi-million dollar price tags on these diamonds, because let's face it, most people could never afford to buy a diamond like that. However, if you were to go through all of the results of these auctions and start to look at the medium price diamonds that are in the 100,000 range, for example, those tend to go up much higher than the more expensive ones, because there's a much larger group of buyers that could afford to buy a $100,000 diamond versus a 40 or 50 or $60 million diamond. But the important thing is that somebody who does have $60 million or so to spend on an asset, the fact that they're buying this diamond makes all the sense in the world. And they're buying it as an investment. They're just not buying it because it's beautiful. Yes, it is gorgeous and one of a kind, but these diamonds will continue to go up and up and up in value. So they're just the best investments you could make. They're longer-term investments, but so are retirement savings plans. And the fact is that these diamonds will do way better than any retirement savings plan could ever do.
Speak with Harold about our featured diamond. It does rank in there with that featured diamond that we had last week. It's a museum piece. It's a 1+ carat radiant cut, fancy, intense blue. Absolutely gorgeous color. It's a big diamond. See it, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. The most secure and profitable investment, billions of years in the making. Rare colored diamonds, nature's art, private, portable, stable wealth. Speak with Harold today about starting your own investment diamond portfolio, and obviously get our free weekly newsletter, and then you can see the stories that we're reading on a weekly basis regarding diamonds. Go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com every week and take a look at our featured diamond of the week. You will see some of the most gorgeous diamonds that are locked away in vaults normally and obviously awaiting investors, but you will see them via video. Go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week, to take a look at that 1+ carat radiant cut, fancy, intense blue. And we do have in our newsletter this week auction results for Sotheby's and Christie's, the Geneva sales, and you can take a look for yourself at that 7.97 carat fancy intense blue cushion-shaped diamond that the estimate $3 million, and it brought in $12.7 million. That's the beautiful and exciting part of investing in rare colored diamonds. One of the other stories of the week, and this tells you a lot too, this is the white diamond market, not as rare, but still it's interesting. A broken shard of the second biggest diamond sold for $17.5 million. When you're selling your offcuts for almost $20 million, you know you're doing something right. Canadian company Lucara just sold a 373.7 carat diamond for $17.5 million. For a company that has been unearthing some of the world's biggest and most expensive stones in the past few years, that may sound less impressive until you realize it's a broken shard from the second biggest diamond ever found. Lucara sold the stone as part of a $54.8 million special diamond sale that consisted of 15 large and high-value diamonds, the company said in a statement on Friday. The diamond was a very large chip broken off from the almost 1,100, and this is a beautiful diamond too, carat diamond the company found in 2015 named Lesedi Lerona, or R-Light, in the Tswana language spoken in Botswana where it was found. It was the biggest diamond found in more than 100 years. The diamond went unsold at Sotheby's auction, and that was last year. They had a bid of around $60 million, but that was not enough for them. They believe the diamond is worth more. And obviously sort of interesting to note that during the week that Lucara sold this shard from the big Lesedi Lerona for $17.5 million. And Harold, with big diamonds like that, they take them, they look at maybe breaking them up, making them multi-stones, taking the time to figure out what cut, how you polish, how do you develop the diamond. Something like that could take years and years. And that's the other part of this situation that people have to understand. Like a Picasso would sit in front of an easel and paint a record-setting painting. Obviously, he didn't know that at the time. But then you have a similar situation with nature's art. Diamonds, billions of years old, coming out of the Earth's crust. And then at that point, you have some of the world's greatest cutters and polishers, the people that analyze the diamonds. They do all that work, and they cut the diamond, and then they create a masterpiece that can carry on for hundreds and hundreds of years and be passed on from generation to generation like any piece of artwork will do. And we should say that we've talked about it before. Look at Shirley Temple, back 1940. There was a blue diamond that her father purchased for her, around $7,200, sold last year at auction for over $25 million. So, Harold, this is a rare market, and it's becoming rarer by the moment due to the fact that we know the Argyle mine is going to be shutting down. And when that mine shuts down, pink diamonds, 90 to 95% of the world's pinks, are gone. So that is going to be a game changer in this marketplace, something that we have never seen before.
You bet, Randy. It's very, very exciting that these situations are coming up at a time when the world needs something like this. Now, let's face it, according to the reports that we read earlier today, most people cannot afford these. But the fact is that those that can do very, very well with them. So it's just another asset that is an alternative asset that you can hold in your hand, that isn't made of paper, that could be sold in other currencies, that's portable private wealth, that never decline in value. It's got such amazing potential. And again, you buy a diamond for the long term, the same as you would invest in a retirement savings plan. If you're in your 30s and just starting off in the world, and you're not going to retire till you're 65, 70, you're holding on to that investment for 40 years. Same situation with the diamond. The longer you put it away, the more and more valuable it becomes, because these diamonds will eventually become pretty well extinct. We know that the pink diamonds will. Soon 95% of all the pink diamonds will be off the market. And what's going to happen? It's the economics 101. When demand is high and supplies are low, the prices always go higher. And that's exactly what's happening. We're only 3 years away from the Argyle mine closing, and then this phenomenon will never, ever happen again. What we try to do is try to find trends, longer-term trends, that our clients could obviously get involved in, and that's where the biggest amounts of money are made. The trend that we had in gold for 11 years, the biggest bull market of all time, absolute fortunes were made during those 11 years. So we feel the same thing with diamonds. If you're one of the fortunate few to own an Argyle Pink, we believe you're going to do very well, double your money, triple your money, that type of thing. We feel the same thing is happening. The next major trend is in green diamonds. They're very rare, extremely difficult to get, and those are the type of diamonds that we bring to the marketplace. So I just think it's an amazing market at this point, Randy. Obviously, we're hitting records almost every time an auction happens, and again, these are amongst the most beautiful and valuable assets of all time. But again, most people cannot afford multi-million-dollar diamonds. If you look at the auction results, you're going to see that diamonds that are in the 50, 100, 200,000 range have phenomenal returns and are normally go much higher than what the estimates are by the experts at the auction houses.
Well, what we're seeing is the smart money, the big money moving into diamonds and jewelry. And that does say a lot because, yes, as Harold was touching on, there is really big money that can be made if you do invest in a diamond, $50,000 to $100,000. You hold it for the long term. We're seeing those diamonds do very, very well at auction, even being sold within 10, 15, 20 years. But it is something to note when you see the big money coming and buying $57 million worth of diamonds in an auction. And you have a diamond that the estimate on it, $3 million, went for over $12 million. And that is the sentiment towards this market. The rare colored diamond market is very, very strong. And a lot of it has to do with the world that we find ourselves in today. Basically, in a lot of markets, central banks are, unlike the United States, not raising rates. Interest rates are practically at zero as they are here in Canada, or negative interest rates. And you have, as we've seen over the past 10 plus years, manipulated stock markets, bond markets, real estate markets. A lot of them are very overvalued and could face a major correction at any time, and people are moving to other hard assets. In fact, there was some, and you can find the story in our free weekly newsletter, there was art sales in New York City this week, and there were billionaires that sold off some art, and it was purchased by others for record prices. You have the big money investing in diamonds and jewelry. You have them moving into the high-end art market. You have them in the collectible car market, even in the watch market and handbag market. Obviously, it's an amazing thing to see. The big money, though, really moving now, and we had that story at the beginning of the year from the Wall Street Journal saying that the smart money, the big money, moving into rare-colored diamonds and jewelry, because this is an area where they believe that money can be made over the long term. And when they take a look at stock markets, bond markets, and real estate, a lot of it is very excessively priced. And the best thing about a hard asset, Harold, and we've talked about this before, you're holding it in your hand. It's something that you hold in your hand personally. It's not a stock certificate or a bond certificate. It's something that you can hold in your hand. And obviously you can wear, you can store in your own vault if you choose to, but it's something that's tangible. And in the world that we're in today with hedge funds and you also have a cashless society, having tangibles is very important.
You bet it is. Again, diversification, everybody has their own comfort level when it comes to investing. Most people just give their money to a money manager and just because they don't feel they're qualified to make, the financial decisions that need to be done with their money, so they leave it to somebody else. In most cases, that doesn't work out. In actual fact, if you were to ever follow your financial advisor home, see what kind of car he drives, where he lives and all that, you may think twice about giving him your money to invest. So it's funny that we don't do the research that we need to do when it comes to hiring the right person to manage their money. Now, you don't have to do that with us. We give our advice to our clients, and we'll do it on a one-on-one basis. The show has been on for going on 18 years now. So Randy and I love doing the show. We have never, ever missed a show in all of the 17, 18 years that we've been doing this together. So we take our business very seriously. And again, our business is a one-on-one type of business. So if you ever need to speak to me about prior investments or what you're thinking of doing or inquiring into our private investments, it would be my pleasure to help you. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Again, if we can help you, we will certainly do so. But at this particular point, it's a very confusing world out there because none of the investments that we could have relied on, 20 years ago are present today. The stock market, most people lose trading stocks. 90% of people that make their own decisions trading stocks lose. In actual fact, if you look at what your financial advisors do for you, their track record isn't much better. So the fact is that you really need to do some research, and I'm hoping that you'll give us the opportunity. We're not charging you commissions. We don't charge for seminars or radio shows or newsletters or anything. The information we give you, we think is spot on. I've been in the business 35 years, made an awful lot of money for clients. We're not right every time, but we don't leverage and we don't put our clients in unnecessary risks. So again, we're not like other firms in that area. However, we do have alternative assets and alternative investments that do much better than mainstream investments. Most of my clients are invested in investments with my company that make over 25% a year, and that money is in U.S. dollars, which means that not only are the investments successful, but so is the currency exchange, and that's extremely important to us.
Our featured diamond of the week from rarecoloreddiamonds.com. 1+ carat, radiant cut, fancy intense blue. See it online, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. You can also see a picture of it in our free weekly newsletter. If you are not on our list for the free weekly newsletter, send out via email every week, absolutely free of charge. You can go through it in 5 to 10 minutes or spend hours if you want. You'll be completely up to date. Definitely get this week's newsletter. We have in there auction results from Sotheby's and Christie's, their jewel sales in Geneva, Switzerland. And we had stories on the Apollo Blue and Artemis Pink that sold for $57 million and were renamed. And we also had the story on the Christie's, and this was a big heart pendant that sold for $15 million, 92 carats. But more importantly, there was that 7.97 carat fancy intense blue cushion-shaped diamond that brought in $12.7 million. The estimate on it was $3 million. How do you invest today so you can retire tomorrow? That's the whole idea behind the radio show. That's why we're here doing the radio show, putting the information together for you. You can speak with Harold personally and privately. You can give him a call. He'll be happy to speak with you over the phone anytime. The call is free, and obviously anything discussed is confidential. 1-800-432-1022. The website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com. And Harold, we have about 40 seconds left. You speak with many of our radio listeners on a weekly basis, and you're happy to do so.
You better believe it. Again, I think it's extremely important that we speak one-on-one so I understand exactly what your goals are and what you've done so far and what we can do moving forward. Whether you need additional income, if you're going to retire, whether you're looking for longer-term capital gains, we can help you with both those situations. So very excited about things moving forward. We've worked very hard to help our clients, and things are looking phenomenal at this particular time.
Thank you very much, Harold Siegel, for your knowledge, and have a great long weekend.
Thank you, my friend. I wish everybody a wonderful weekend and a very profitable day.
Connect with Harold, 1-800-432-1022. The website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Coming up next on 6:30 CHED, the Ottawa Senators and the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.